A recent study by the Children's Center at Johns Hopkins finds that electric scooter injuries are becoming more common. The study found kids accounted for more than 45% of e-scooter related injuries. These included hurting their head, traumatic brain damage, and broken bones. The Consumer Product Safety Commission reports of those injured, nearly 40% were between 11 and 14 years old, and around 70% were boys. Experts stress it's important that parents make sure their kids are aware of good safety practices. That includes wearing a helmet, not going too fast, and keeping an eye out for traffic when near or crossing roads.
The max speed that you can get on the bikes is about 50 miles an hour. So it is pretty substantial, and we don't want to see any severe injuries due to not wearing helmets.
Researchers also urge policymakers to keep these scooters and bikes in mind when choosing speed limits or when planning out future pathways for pedestrians. It reports that creating safe and dedicated spaces for riding can help improve safety.